do. Think you the one, but he really the two. Better get low when I hit at your crew. I'm sending the cleaners through. I'm barely not sober, they thinking it's over. You niggas ain't seen my move. They set me down like I went out of space, now I gotta go back to the moon. Nigga right back on the shrooms. Nigga get done like it ain't nothing to lose. 2 months I'm back on the move. Right back in the club, throwing racks in the pool. I'm about to start acting a fool. It's just you and me, and you know who I choose. You know this what happen, you can cut all the cool. I'm talking to me and not you. I missed out on millions and millions, that money is gone. Ain't getting no compensation, ain't no conversation for niggas, we ready to roll. Let's get back to the basic, main reason they fake it, cause I done been fucking they hoes. Only reason you said it, cause the niggas said it, you sucking the dick in the toes. You get caught, gotta know how it go, cause this shit can get triggered for sure. Rich enough to get put in a hole. Got a crew, but I've been all alone. I've been driving the car from the back, taking pictures of pieces in back of the roads. And I think the little boy wanna cook, so let's crank up the beef and get back to the shows. In Miami, we BP the boat. Put the bulletproof back on the road. In a minute, it's been so long. Ever wonder that I was doing wrong? I'll say, hold up, I'm switching up the tone. Me, you niggas couldn't see me with a song. If a nigga didn't never see me, probably when he be rapping all alone. He young gunner didn't get a season. You niggas will never put it on. I can stop, I gave what was needed. Yeah, I know y'all won't wanna put me on. Keep it cool, but they got me heated. And I'm about to show 'em how it go. Like a river, I show 'em how it flow. After showing, they know I'm my MO. If you don't go with me, don't do what I do. Think you the one, but he really the two. Better get low when I hit at your crew. I'm sending the cleaners through. I'm barely not sober, they thinking it's over. You niggas ain't seen my move. They set me down like I went out of space, now I gotta go back to the moon. Nigga back over the trees. Niggas still rolling, we back on the E. I'm still having soldiers to handle the need. The vengeance is giving them ease. You talking that ratchet with all of that cheese. We having some lemons to squeeze. I let you be and do whatever I please. You know she do good on her knees. I finally discovered the breed. I'm glad I can see I'm the one they discussing. It ain't about the money you got me discussing. You like it, then he gotta love it. He hope I suit down just to get up and close to a nigga, cause I'm up above it. My homie keep begging to clean up a couple of niggas, but I ain't really budging. Gotta watch for the loss, so I really can't talk to you niggas. But fuck it. I'm a real boss and I gotta be cautious, cause niggas don't keep it 100. It ain't my fault that I had to fall out with you niggas, but fuck it. Ain't having time to be tongue. Wrestling with niggas, come see me in public. You can't be trusted, you gotta watch out for you people. Cause shit it get ugly and you could be lucky if you could look out for your people. When you ain't had nothing and try to make something, we looking through hate for a needle. When you ever fall down and your back hit the ground, better pray to the God you don't need them. Yeah. If you don't go with me, don't do what I do. Think you the one, but he really the two. Better get low when I hit at your crew. I'm sending the cleaners through. I'm barely not sober, they thinking it's over. You niggas ain't seen my move. They set me down like I went out of space, now I gotta go back to the moon.
Today, we're going to talk about the wildcard games yesterday, MLB plays for today, and of course, the squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. Did they forget to put the Hokies on there at the bottom? I don't know. Did they forget to put them in there? Was it too much of a lock and people were trying to get too cute with their votes? How did Virginia Tech miss this list? It does not make a lick of sense to me. You know, I'm starting to understand maybe why you guys think I'm a moose shit better sometimes. These losses, they look bad. They do. The wins, they sneak by. Nobody gives a hoot about those.
The Candyman, it's just more of a gut feeling on this one because he's been really bad. But wanted a red square. That's my red square.
If I'm sitting there in the front row and a home run ball's hit to me and I've got no glove in sight, I'm waiting for that puppy to come in. Probably going to break my hand. I don't care because I'm going to make a play like a savage. And this old geezer gets in my way with a glove and catches the ball. We're going to have a talk. There's going to be a conversation had. And I've got, yep, you guessed it, the same fucking square that burned us yesterday because I'm not scared. All right, and I don't quit. What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Wednesday, episode 557 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not tracking your bets on Bookit, you should start today with these MLB postseason games on during the day. Start tracking your bets over there on Bookit. It's free, cannot be easier. Use promo code Jovan. Go get signed up today. All right? Jovan, W call with the squad ride yesterday, my man. Let's fucking go. We start out the month 1-0. 1-0. Love to see that. At the expense of Goots, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Glad he wasn't
here for that. Glad he wasn't here for that. And is not here for that.
Yeah, he didn't need to be here for that. I'm with you.
Yeah.
It was dirty.
Turns out.
Dirty.
Who would have thought underdogs actually can win in the playoffs? From all the comments while we were talking about that, and on the post, of course, like every playoff squad ride, underdogs can win. Plus, Chicky can hit in the playoffs. So, new revelation.
First three dogs all won outright, and then the Padres brought it home late nights. Shout out the Mets for coming through, keeping their season alive. You guys know I'm rooting for them low key. I got that future for them to make the World Series along with the Padres, who took care of business last night. The only team is a favorite to come through. W's. Very excited for this Astros game starting up here soon. I'm not fucking betting it. I've seen a million people putting the bankroll in the Astros ML. I've seen smart people betting the Tigers. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm going to sit back, relax, enjoy the show, watch Trent sweat this puppy out. He is going to fire up the sweats for that Astros game chat, so stick around. You've got plenty of content for today on the Bookit Sports Network here. We've got an Astros sweat at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, Trent will be on there. W's. Jovan, before we move and groove and get on the recaps, thoughts on the Astros today?
I'm just sticking to my guns where I was kind of half kidding, kind of half not. I was talking to Trent about the series. He was getting very worried a couple of days ago when we were at the house, and I was like, I can't see the Tigers losing the series, especially if they win with Scooball on the mound game 1. I'm not betting the Astros. I will take something in the Astros game, but I don't know if it'll necessarily lead them to a win. We'll talk about that.
All right. We'll talk plenty more about that game as well. Let's power through some of these recaps. We'll go to the Sharp Report. Pull that puppy out. Not my best work. Push on Scooball. Framber less than 4.5 hits allowed. I believe he had 5 or 6. Either way, that was a shit square. Astros ML, shit play. First 5 under 4 in the Mets and the Brew Crew. That might have been the worst bet of the day. Might have been the worst bet of the week. But the under in the Orioles game, which is hilarious, Jovan. Like I said, my least favorite play yesterday that I didn't even end up locking in, because we took the Royals on the ML, which is fine. Plus chicken, squad ride, W play there. Not mad about it. But that was the only fucking winner I had. Brutal.
Jeez.
Bad.
Jeez.
Bad. You've got a pending moneyline parlay there. We'll see if you can cash that puppy, Jovan. But
I got some WCLV on that too.
Yeah, you did. Is that up to 9.5?
Yeah, they're 7.5. So the Bozo pack came out to like plus 110. I haven't checked the odds on it now, but it's obviously a little juicier. So WCLV and the Padres win.
Yeah, 100%, dudes. And we'll take a peep at some of those lines for the weekend as well. We've got some time today. We'll go over that. We'll take a peep at NFL and college football lines for the weekend. We'll go over these MLB postseason wildcard games in depth today. And, of course, go over the Sharp Report here as well. Let's take a peep at King of the Board. Let's go take a gander over there. My under in the WNBA was cake. I hope people tailed the Minnesota Lynx late night. That was free, but the under in Vegas and the Liberty Bibberties was a moose shit play. Looked like he was going to hit, did not hit. They scored 1 million points in the third quarter, and they were playing like an NBA team out there. Unbelievable. Plenty of points. Plenty of points. Jovan, nothing from you yesterday. Maybe something today on the agenda?
Potentially. I think I might go pretty deep in my bag for Thursday Night Football, though. So there's probably going to be a couple there. I don't know what I'm going to put today, if anything.
Okay. We've got some subbies coming in. We got Jacobson coming in, resubbing. T. Schneid's coming in, gents. 2 whole years is awesome. Can't wait for the next 2. Appreciate the Bookit crew. We appreciate you, T. Schneid's. W's. Appreciate the vibes and the subby. Okay? W's there. Hi, Krabs. I tailed the Mets first 5 under, and now I'm asking for some lunch money. Please, Matt, that was the worst bet of the week. I will take any chirps on that play. That was a atrocious play, but I didn't hear no bell. And we're going back to that game here in a moment, and there might be a Battleberg involved, and I'm not happy about it. I'm starting to think Jovan might just be fading this place. And honestly, at this rate, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, my favorite.
We'll get to it. All right, for now, we'll push the MLB pod here. Guys, if you have not listened to the MLB pod, we talked about our World Series winners. We talked about teams we think have some life. Talked plenty about the Yankees as well. If you guys want to give that a listen, it's still very relevant. We talk about our World Series futures in that as well. So if you want to listen to that pod, it's up on YouTube. It's up on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Do me a favor on YouTube. If you're watching over there, drop a like and make sure you have your noties on for the YouTube channel so you know when we're posting new content. Okay, I know you guys are all subscribed, but make sure you have the little notif on, the little bell emoji that's on the YouTube page so you know and get alerted when we drop new vids. Okay, noties are on. Yay Lad says, love to see it.
Notice.
Dubs, here's the link if you want to check out the pods. Okay, go give that a listen today. Still,
and let us know if you want us to do one post wild card for the NLCS or ALDS, NLDS. So I guess that would be Gap Day Friday.
Maybe we could pump it out Thursday night and be superheroes. Would be
Only
ideal.
If people want it. Only if the people
would be
want
ideal. They're gonna have to want it though. 9K subs on YouTube, 24-hour stream. Connor saying, I can't believe I just called him Connor. Why are you going under your government on YouTube, Showtime? Jeez, that threw me off. Okay.
Google accounts bring out the govs.
Okay, sure. Do it, please. You guys want it? Would you guys listen to that pod if we do one on Thursday nights? Could be worth it. Could be. All right. Let us know in chat if you guys would listen to that pod. I know Godsynth wants it. We got 3 picks sharp coming in, dropping a subby as well. Take all the teams that lost yesterday. What could go wrong? I mean, 3 picks sharp. I've seen worse game plans. I've also seen better, but I've seen worse. All right. I mean, look, some of these teams aren't going down without a fight. We'll see if we can pick the right ones. All right. We'll talk about all 4 of these games later today. For now, why don't we go ahead and dive right into it, Jovan, and go over some of our favorite plays in the Sharp Report. Let's go ahead and get to it. Goodsy, this one's for you, my man. We've got Joshy running BTL today. Let's get some W Joshies in the chat, holding it down, doing some overtime here after TMA. And W Lauren and Mikey on TMA earlier today. You guys can always go back and rewatch that on YouTube as well. They were talking plenty of college football. Go give that a peep. We got Joshy today because Goodsy is Goots on grounds at Camden Yards in Baltimore for this game today, as he should be. Hopefully that gives them enough aura and, Goots power to get that W today. And I also think the Orioles aren't going down without a fight. I said this before the season. I said the Orioles last year got embarrassed. They got swept in the playoffs by the Rangers, the best team in the playoffs last year. They won the World Series, okay? The Orioles are very young. They're like the baby team of the MLB here. For the majority of their squad, besides, Corbin Burns, who pitched great yesterday, and it was a waste. This team, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in one season. I still believe in what the Orioles are building, but I think it's going to take some time. Now, last year they got swept. This year they're going to get a win. They win this game today. They have to. There's no way they get swept back-to-back years. And the Royals and Lugo have cost me serious coins so far this year, Jovan, but I didn't hear no bell. I'm going back to it, and I'm taking the Orioles on the ML. Grabbed them at -148. The line's hovering around -150. They are not losing this game. They keep their series alive. Now, I don't know if they win tomorrow. Like I said, baby steps, but they do get a win in this postseason. I'm seeing it, and they get it today on the ML.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think Eflin pitches okay. I don't know how long the leash is going to be. I guess you could say that about pretty much any pitcher today, but I don't know. Something about this series and the end of the game just gives me something in the gut, Krabs. And usually I don't say that about the Royals because the Royals bullpen has been absolutely dog meat all season. But when you're a team like the Orioles who's not hitting well right now, it makes it a lot easier to set up against them late in the game. So I don't know. I don't really have a strong take in that game.
Okay. Well, look, we know the Orioles don't hit lefties well, and Reagan's absolutely dealt yesterday, right? They get a righty today.
Told they did yesterday.
I don't know who told you that. Well. They need to go back to the fucking drawing board. They don't hit lefties well. I feel like the Orioles today, they'll have new life. They'll put up some runs early, and they'll hold a lead, and I'll be holding on for dear life at the end of that game. You're probably not wrong. It's going to be sweaty. But I'll take the Orioles on the ML. They're getting some respect on the ML here. We know how the Orioles roll. They come through and they don't get line respect. But like I said, I'm trusting my guns and sticking with my take from earlier this season. I do think the Orioles win a postseason game this year. Not saying they're winning the World Series, but it starts with one, and they get it today. They do. And Eflin's terrible in the playoffs. He's got like a 9 ERA in the postseason in his career, Jovan. I think that's some serious respect for the O's after the Royals blanked them last night. I'll take him on the ML.
Now, you worried about the back-to-back Goots on ground narrative. So that might have been the sharpest thing Mikey's ever said.
Yeah. I am a little bit concerned.
2 in a row.
There's not anybody out there who deserves getting 2 in a row more than Goots. I want to put that on records. He deserves it. Now, is he going to get it? That's the question. I don't know. Right? You can only ask for so much. I don't know if anybody in the Bookit Squad is, good enough to get 2 in a row. Right? It's going to be tough. He did just see his Ravens absolutely obliterate the Bills in prime time. Goots on ground. Can Goots get 2 in a row? Jovan, I believe. I think he could do it. If anybody can, it's Goots. All right. Let's go to your sharp report. Let's see what you're cooking up. You can go over your first 2 plays if you want, Jovan. What do you got?
I'm going to start with the Battle of Berg, I guess. The total in the Mets-Brewers game. You're going under. I'm going over. And I can see why you want to go under. And I completely get that rationale. The thing that keeps bringing me back to what this series is going to be, because it kind of seems on paper like no way the Mets keep doing this and keep putting out this crazy offensive output. I think they do, partially because like all the pitchers that they're going to see, even though the Brewers bullpen is really, really good, you're probably not going to see Montes for all that long today. You're probably going to see Tobias Myers, who's been really good, but he is a young pitcher pitching in the playoffs for the first time. Like all this pitching staff has been seen by the other team very, very recently. A lot of these guys made their last outings against these same teams. So I feel like it's not necessarily a fluke that this happened to be the only game that had a shit ton of runs, yesterday in comparison to all the others. So I think that's going to happen again today. I think this is going to be madness. Who comes out on top? I don't know, but I think it's going to be the Mets. I think the Brewers are going home, especially because that pitching staff not only is all making their last starts or 2 starts in a row for the most part against the same team, but like we talked about on the pod, this team really has not played competitive baseball in quite some time. So I'm leaning into that a little bit, and I think that's a problem with the pitching staff, especially when you have a couple young arms in there. Granted, they are a little fresh, but I think we see some runs, especially from the Mets side.
All right. Well, the Brewers are catching some steam. I wonder what that's about. Last night it was like a pick 'em in this game.
Yeah.
Now the Brew Crew is like -120. Maybe it's bets. I'll take a peep over what people are locking in, and we'll take a peep at the picket splits here later. But interesting. Mets are public as well on the ML. Weird to see the Brew Crew catching some respect, some steam. Maybe it's because Toby's coming out of the pen. Vegas likes Toby. I don't know. I would. That guy goes out there and shoves 9 times out of 10. I like the under in this game, Jovan, but we'll get to that here in a moment. I like your Padres play here as well. I do.
Yeah, it's hard to not. I feel like they're going to be, once again, a very popular play. The Braves came out and they looked like absolute horse meat yesterday. I mean, no hope offensively. And I think that's not really an accident. The fact that we saw nothing offensively was honestly kind of the shocking part. And I do think that's a crazy comment. I do think they come out a little bit more offensive in this game. They score some runs, not too many off of Musgrove, but I don't think they get completely shut down. I love the spot that the Padres bullpen is in as well. I think they used Adam and Suarez, and that was really it last night, if I'm not mistaken. So the bullpen's in as great a spot as you can ask for. They're pretty deep anyway, so it's not like you can really ever put them in a tough position. So I think they're set up fine for this game, but Max Fried, I think, is in a pretty tough spot too. I know he's had his share of playoff struggles, I guess, but he's facing a team that's going to put the ball in play plenty. And Max Fried is not a strikeout artist pitcher unless he has like a golden matchup. The Padres are certainly not that matchup. So I think he's honestly going to have a pretty tough time. There's going to be a lot of base runners. That's usually what happens with a Max Fried start against a team like this. And you can't do that in the playoffs because teams like the Padres are going to come and bite you in the ass. So I do feel like even though the Braves are going to put up, I think, more of a fight than they did yesterday, I think they win this game and the series is over.
Okay. I think Musgrove shoves. I also think Fried shoves. I like the under in that game. We'll talk about that in a moment. I got a question for you about that Aces play. You know that game's on Friday?
No way it's on Friday.
Dude.
Yeah, that game's on Friday. I was looking for it. I'm like, dude, there's no. Yeah.
Not locked.
They're -2.5, though. They're winning that game.
No way you're not locked, and you're putting
Not
the
locked.
Aces on there like they're playing tonight.
I was scrambling, Krabs.
It's a day in history, man. Chat, write this one down. What's today? October 2nd, 12:59 p.m. Eastern. Jovan not locked. Mark it down. Rare.
Well, you know what was in
Rare.
there prior to that? It was a soccer play. So I can go right in there.
Do you want to flip-flop? Put the soccer play in there, talk about it. I'll get the graphic changed.
I mean, sure, we can flip-flop, but
What time is that game at?
2.5. I think 2 hours.
Okay.
2
We got
Central.
time. Talk about it.
I feel like I have to keep the Aces in there. I feel like it's bad omen, though.
You
Give
can
Mom
do whatever
Pa's
you
Aces
want.
one more shot.
You can
We'll
do
just
whatever
keep it-
you'd like.
We'll keep it on the record that it's really Monaco's to grab over 2 or over 3. I guess it is kind of now.
Over
So that'll be
3.
some- Over 3. Give me the odds. Plus odds.
Let me look. We got a Degen subby coming in. 5-unit sub whale from Degen. Let's fucking go, dude.
Wow.
Yes. Joshy doing some research here, some reconnaissance. Love to see that as well. We got Monaco. We got, who's the other team?
It's a
Dina.
grab.
The Greb.
It's a
Over
grab.
2.5. Is there an over 3 line available
Yeah, that's what I got.
potentially here?
Yeah.
All right. Leave that up real quick, Joshy. AS Monaco, sure. I'm sure Daniel will know what the hell this is, honestly.
He knows what it is. It's Champions League. It's a big day, Krabs. Big day on the pitch.
Why don't you sell it real quick? Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, Zagreb defensively is absolutely terrible, especially when they play these games where they're kind of forced to be aggressive and go forward because, I mean, frankly, I know it's obviously very early, but you need points, especially against a Monaco team that is pretty, I don't know, they're struggling with some sort of identity. So I feel like this is the classic Zagreb game where they're forced to go forward. It's going to be back and forth. You're probably going to get a both teams to score in this one, and it ends in absolute chaos, whether that's, I don't know, 3-2, 2-2 with a late equalizer or something like that. This is just one of those games, it seems like, for Zagreb that I cannot turn down goals in this game. So I will fully get into that.
Monaco's been on a heater. They've won 4 games in a row, I'm seeing.
Yeah, Monaco is they're a very confusing team, I guess, especially when they get into like Champions League play, because they just pulled a pretty massive upset. They beat Barcelona, I think, in their last match, and that was granted they were a man up that entire game. That's the narrative that I love to fade. I think Zagreb comes out with a little heart in this one, which has to come with goals. Oh, I saw.
Should we just call it?
Call it.
Shut it down.
You know what? You just gotta hope she drops some earlier plays. Maybe those.
Dude, she was on the fucking first 5 over in that Mets game yesterday, and she smacked it. Best play she's ever given out.
She's on the Padres yesterday too. Maybe she's Padres sharp.
Fuck. All right, over 3 goals in Monaco versus Dynamo. I'm seeing Dynamo was in a game. In their last one, Jovan, they gave up 9 goals.
Well, you got to look.
Piece.
You got to look at the games, Krabs. It's a difference. What do you mean? When these teams get into actual like Champions League competitions, it's not the same.
Yeah, that was them playing some minor league team, getting ready or some shit. Sure.
You're probably looking at. I don't know that was their last game, Krabs. Was it?
I'm seeing at BMU. On
the Bayern
17th.
game. The Bayern game. Yes, I do remember that.
Bayern Munich scored 9 goals on them.
Yeah, because that was a similar, like, they had to go forward against a team that was clearly better than them on the attacking side. Monaco's not Bayern, but I feel like I'm tipping the scales a little more towards Zagreb being offensively like present in this one.
Okay.
So it's a little different.
All right. W's. Let's move. Let's groove. We'll go back to my sharp report here. I'll go over some more plays. Battleberg, 2 words. Let me get the under in the Mets and the Brew Crew game. We saw plenty of runs in that game. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but for today, I am willing to back Frankie Montes, excuse me, to do his job against the Mets. God, it's not going to be easy. Not excited about it, but I like Frankie. I think he goes out there and shoves, and if he gets in any trouble, they're going to yank him real quick for Toby, who's just been playing out of his fucking mind this season. That's a guy that I want my coins on to pitch well and to keep the fucking offense off the scoreboards. And then you look at the other side, you look at the Brew Crew offense here. Mané is a guy that nobody ever wants to back or bet on. Mané is a guy who's got all the experience in the world, though, and plenty of miles. He knows what to do. Let's just hope he has his stuff today. And if he does, I think he's got a real chance to maybe even beat the Brew Crew in this game. And the Mets advance nice and quick through 2 games in this wildcard series. But either way, whoever ends up winning, I don't care. I'll take the under in this game. The total was at 7, moved back up to 7.5 after we saw bazillion runs in that game yesterday. Sure, I'll sell high on the offenses and buy low on these pitchers who nobody wants to back Frankie. Nobody wants to back Manea. The splits back that up as well. I'll do it after we saw 1 million runs yesterday.
Yeah, and I mean, the one part I'm with you on, Montes is probably not going more than 3 innings, if that. I mean, that's good for your square that you're going to talk about a little bit, but yeah, he just saw this team and went 4 innings and gave up a couple hits, couple walks, whatever it was. So the leash is going to be even shorter now. So you're probably going to see him, Tobias Myers, Devin Williams, I don't think pitched yesterday because it was a crazy game, and the whole cast of guys pretty much is available for the Brewers. So it's going to be a classic Brewers pen game.
Okay. And then I love the under in this Padres and Braves game late night. Probably my favorite play of the day today. Total's down to 6.5 most places with that under plus chicken. I still like it, guys, but I did lock in that under 7 last night at -115. I was pretty pissed off about my MLB plays last night, so I stayed up nice and late, got in the lab, and locked in a couple late nights. Even posted them on Pickit for my followers on Pickit over there as well. That's why you guys got to be following me over there. You get those early releases. I got that under 7. I love this play. I think Fried shoves. I think Fried puts those fucking postseason troubles to the side and goes out there and absolutely shoves and throws a gem. It's not going to be by strikeouts, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But I think Fried goes out there and does his fucking job today. I really do. That line not moving and all the money coming in on the Padres tells me that I think he does okay with that total dropping. And although we saw the Padres score some runs yesterday, the Braves offense was inept, and I think they'll be inept once again today against Musgrove, Mr. San Diego, Mr. Padre. I know for a fact he's going to go out there and shove. He's going to absolutely deal and silence those Braves bats that don't deserve to be here anyways. I'll back Musgrove and Fried, which is a little more sketchy with his postseason history, to go out there and shove in a game where we saw an under yesterday, sure, but the Padres put up some runs. Higgy hit that late home run. Great. It was 4-0. I still think we see a game where we don't see nearly that many runs. I think it'll be another very low-scoring affair. First team to score 3 runs wins in this late-night Geyserman.
Could see it. I mean, you think Fried's going to shove. Obviously, I'm on the Padres, so I don't think the same. But I'm a little more sold in the Padres in the total. But
okay.
I do think there's like the Mets-Brewers game, the one that soared over, and like comparison to all the rest, it's in those 2 games. That's what I think. I just more so think it's a repeat of Mets-Brewers, and then maybe we see that happen to the Padres. Who knows? I would love to see that if they're the ones doing it.
All right. Got a Krabs pick at Nody at like midnight, late night lab W. Yes. I was pissed off, and I wanted to find some winners for the peeps.
Gotta respect that, dude.
That was one of the plays, that under 7. See how it plays out. I think we get a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel in that one. I know you disagree there, but you're at least with me on Musgrove going out there and doing his job against the Braves.
Yeah, that I am with you on.
All right. Sure. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's go to Jovan's. Actually, he already went over his last play here. We'll go to his prize pick squares. Tell me about Tucker. Tell me about Bobby Witt.
I got to stick with guts because realistically, probably shouldn't be living on the prize picks board for playoff baseball, but got to do what you got to do. And these are the gut plays that, I mean, I've been looking back, second guessing a couple of them because a lot of them have been goats, especially yesterday. Going with them today. I feel like if the Astros put up any sort of fight in this one, it starts with Kyle Tucker and trickles down from him to the rest of the lineup. And I can't ignore in really all of the entire slate. This is the game with, I guess, the lowest total because it's a 6.5 or maybe it's 7 now. But the only reason for that is the Tigers bullpen game. And Kyle Tucker is the juiciest guy to score a run in the entire slate. And he's got to square up, obviously. And you talk about the matchup, he's probably only going to see Olden for a singular at bat. But lefty, we know Kyle Tucker is the absolute king at that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets him started very, very early. But I feel like he has to be the centerpiece of this offense. And again, like him and the guys that are going to be hitting right after him are going to have to be the only source of offense. If the Astros are going to score runs today, I think they score a couple. I think he's going to have to be in the center of it. So I'm taking him to cross plate. And then Bobby Witt against Zach Eflin, going with the GOAT. I feel like this is his moment just in this playoffs in general, if they're going to make any noise. And even though I kind of do lean Orioles in this game against Eflin, who's going to come with a very similar approach that Corbin Burns had, which Bobby Witt was able to take advantage of, and that's the only run that was scored in the game. I feel like he's going to be very, very ready for it this time. So I feel like this is a statement game for Bobby, and he's going to be the reason that maybe they advance today, or at least they stay in the game, score some runs more than yesterday, because I think that's kind of how the game is going to go. I love the matchup. He's righty-righty, where he hasn't been nearly as bad as he is lefty-righty for God knows what reason. He's going to see a lot of cutters, and the issue with Zach Eflin, I mean, similar to what Corbin Burns was showing towards the end of the season, but Eflin is Eflin and Burns is Burns. Cutter ain't cutting and stay over the heart of the plate, and he doesn't have nearly as sharp of an off speed as Corbin Burns does, and it looked ridiculously sharp last night. So give me Bobby to have a day, and I believe this might be the only 1.5 bases on the board for the beginning stage games or early games. And I know there was only one on the board all of yesterday, and it was Tatis, and he went yard first at bat. So
shout out my guy CC in chat for dropping that nug on Sweats. Lock that puppy in. Turn green immediately. Great
green is mom. Only guy with juicy enough odds to have 1.5 bases. And
here he is. Perfect timing, Jovan. Here's our guy right here. 4 right cappers. Unbelievable call. Unbelievable call. Great work. I just locked in a 4-man with all of our squares. I get down with this. Joshy, we do have an updated Jovan Sharp report graphic. If we're able to flash that for the peeps, should be in the Slack. No rush. We'll see if we can get that up here for the people. They've been asking for it in the chat to see Jovan's plays one more time. We can either go to that, or you can go to my prize pick squares, and I can talk about those while you pull that up. We got the Sharp reports. I think that's the graphic to post here. But that'll apply. That'll apply. We've got that over in there instead of the aces. Sure. Over 3.
There we go.
W's. Real quick, I'll go over my prize pick squares. The 4-man is literally just Jovan's prize pick squares and my prize pick squares combined. Okay, so Jovan just went over his. He's got Bobby Witt and Kyle Tucker. And I'll go over mine here. Frankie Montas, less than 1.5 walks allowed. One of the most popular squares on the board today. Not really surprised if you look at the chart, and it's actually the second most popular square for MLB today on Prize Picks, which is crazy. People are just looking at the green chart. They're taking them more than because they think Frankie Montas sucks, and they saw a bazillion runs in that game yesterday, and they probably think that he stinks once again today. Well, like Jovan said, if there's any sort of trouble in this game, if he starts being out of control, starts walking people, he's getting yanked. He's getting yanked immediately. He could not have a shorter leash for this game this afternoon because they got Toby Myers ready to roll, coming out of that fucking bullpen to come in if Frankie blows this game. If there's any sort of hint that Frankie's off and he starts, letting people on base, giving up some base hits, walking a guy, he's getting pulled from this game. The game plan is not to have Frankie go long in this game anyways, and I'll take my chances on a square where on the books it's minus 115 both ways on a prop that looks like it's the freest one on earth. The chart is greened out on Prize Picks as well on the square. I'll take the less than. I'll be the martyr. I'll be the guy. I'll do it.
Yeah, and it's only in your favor. Like, it's playoff baseball, so the leash is already going to be short. And when you have a guy like Frankie Montas who already has like a short leash a lot of the time, and this is the second start in a row he's facing the Mets, he's not going very long. So as long as you get skate through a couple innings, I feel like you're in a good spot.
Okay. This one might throw you for a loop. The less than strikeouts combo on Max Fried and Joe Musgrove, less than 10 strikeouts combined in that late night baseball game. I do think these gentlemen deal, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And I think there'll be base runners, and I think there'll be base hits. It's not going to be home runs. That's a pitcher's ballpark. I'm not worried about it. The total's at 6.5. Max Fried sucks in the postseason. We just saw the Padres hit some nukes. I feel like the under is still to play, but it's not going to be by strikeouts how these pitchers thrive today. And if you look at both pitchers' strikeouts individually, you'll see that both of them are 2 of the 3 most popular squares drawn on Prize Picks today. Max Fried, 4.5 strikeouts, extremely green after he had 9 Ks against Kansas City in that last start, greened out chart completely in his last 5. Then you look at Joe Musgrove, he's at 5.5 strikeouts, a little bit higher. His chart also greened out. Interesting. So I'll go ahead and be big-brained here. I'll take the combo, less than 10, bank on one of these two guys to not have his strikeout stuff, but still find a way to actually go out there and shove with that low total at 6.5 by some base hits. I see a couple of hits allowed squares up on Prize Picks for these two pitchers. I do think they give up some base knocks, and they're going to be working up there on the bump from the stretch, not from the windup much, but I do think they battle through the adversity and both pitch pretty well, but it's not going to be with the strikeouts. Looking at Prize Picks today with 2 of those 3 starting pitchers, the most popular Prize Pick squares on the board for MLB. Crazy.
Yeah. Man, especially when Fried's a part of it. I don't even regardless of whether he shoves or doesn't, obviously we have differing opinions there. I mean, the Padres, especially against lefties, do not strike out a bit. So if Fried's effective, he certainly does not have to K guys to do it, and he probably won't, regardless of what happens.
They don't strike out against lefties, but I'll tell you what, they also don't get many hits against lefties. They don't hit as well against lefties as they do righties. They're batting .239 this season against lefties, hitting almost .275 against righties this season. So I do think Fried has a chance to go out there and shove, but it's not going to be by the strikeout.
Yeah.
All right. W's. King had 12 Ks yesterday. Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Musgrove doesn't have Michael King stuff, but that's the one that scares me a little more. But I guess you could say the same about Musgrove.
Tatis was free once again in the chat. W's. We got Pat Burke, RL coming in, dropping a subby. Frankie getting shelled. We'll see, Pat. We'll see, my man. I'm excited for that game, and I'm betting that under. We'll see how it goes. All right. Why don't we go ahead and move and groove here, gents? We just went over our Prize Pick squares. Can we flash that sharp report one more time for the peeps? One more time for the peeps in the back who did not catch it. We'll show them the sharp reports, and then we'll move and groove onto some look-ahead lines for the weekend. Check out some NFL, some college football lines, and then we'll wrap it back around, do a squad ride, and MLB Pickett Pro preview. Okay? Guys, feast your eyes. Sharp report plays. Here they are. All right? We just went over these puppies. And remember, you can always go back and rewatch on YouTube. If you forget what plays were on, if you want to hear the sell jobs again, you can always go back and rewatch after BTL on YouTube. Okay? Make sure you're subbed and got those noties on. Dubs. All right, let's move on to the look at headlines. We can start with college football. Jovan, we can take a peep at some of these games. We can leave out the ones during the week. We could skip those and save those for tomorrow and Friday on BTL. We'll talk plenty about those ones. But why don't we go ahead and get started? Especially Friday. Sure. Why don't we go ahead and get started and look at some of these games for Saturday in college football here. We can start scrolling. I mean, Navy and Air Force. Navy laying 9.5, Jovan. 9.5 on the roads. I know they've been playing great. I'm all in for the Navy gas. The look-ahead line was at 4.5 here. Now it's all the way up to 10. People are nuking Navy. I know it's early, but
I mean, Navy's looked fantastic. Army and Navy, I feel like I'm not fading really anytime soon. And it does. Maybe it seems like a little hefty of a line, especially it's a military academy game with a 35.5 total. But man, I don't know what to do.
It's crazy. Last year was Air Force's year. Now they lose Larrier, their stud QB who got hurt last year. That's a big loss. Now this year it's Army and Navy who are balling. And maybe that line is some serious respect on Navy's part, laying 10 on the road to Air Force. My brain tells me anytime you're given an academy 10 points against another academy, you take those points. In a low-scoring game, these squads know each other. I would definitely lean Air Force, but I mean, I won't be on it. For some reason, Navy's the one team I can't fade. So love that school, love that team, and I will not be fading, but I'll tell you right now, I would not be surprised if Air Force covers that game. I think that's probably the play on the spread. I don't have the nuts, though, for it. Okay. Guys, Astros, day sweats starting up here in about an hour for the game. Okay, so stick with us, stay posted, try to get that fired up. We'll have a little sweats moving and grooving here for the afternoon baseball games. Okay. All right, let's keep moving and looking at some college football. Any thoughts on UNC and the Pitt Panthers? I wish we had Rav for this one, but we'll see what Jovan's got. Thoughts on Pitt UNC?
I liked Pitt initially just because I'm so tired of UNC, but God, I feel like that looks like one of the easiest bets on the board, taking Pitt. And I don't want to be the guy that really takes UNC because I think they're bad, but I mean, I don't know a single soul that's going to take him after they just sold the game, covered for some because they only lost by 1, but that was one of the craziest collapses against an offense that literally cannot throw the ball because Malik Murphy is terrible against Duke. And it's the same Duke team that is undefeated and going into Georgia Tech and Atlanta, and they're almost double-digit dogs. So, like, to see that is kind of ridiculous, and I would not be shocked to see if UNC gets one, but am I going to bet on them? No.
UNC +3, probably the play. They blew that game last week. They broke my heart. I had +1. Got a late line there. It pushed. But I have a feeling at home they come out firing. They bounce back and they get this win. I'll probably be on that +3 against undefeated Pitt. Yep.
Yeah.
I can see it right now. I'll be on Mac Brown's boys and UNC. Josh EW scrolling here. We could definitely talk about Mizzou. I got no thoughts really on Wisconsin, Purdue. Not too many. We can just skip ahead to Mizzou, Jovan, if you're good with that.
Oh, I'm great with that. I wonder if Josh is good with that.
We might need Josh's advice. We might need his advice and Rex for this. We might need to get him up here, even just on the mic.
No, we don't need his Rex, man. He's going to tell us Mizzou.
You don't need no Rex. I can give you a PP square that's going to be free every single game of the year, and it's Nate Noel rush yards.
That's where you lose me. You say things like that.
Where you lose me, man.
Every game. Take Nate Noel rush yards.
No.
Every game.
You could have said, I got a square for you that you might like, and I'd be listening. But you had to say you take it every week no matter what, and now I'm out.
Well, if you would have taken it every week, you'd be making some coin grabs.
All right, who is it?
Nate Noel rush yards.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a dog.
See, the problem with that is Mizzou's been playing former defensive lines, bro.
Dude, I mean, it might not even be Nate Noel. It's the scheme. We played Georgia last year, and Cody Schrader, who's mid, ran for 100+ yards against them. It doesn't matter who we play. We run the ball.
What about that backup running back that I love from Georgia State? What's his name again?
Carroll.
Marcus Carroll?
Yeah.
I feel like he's lost some carries now.
Yeah, Josh? they kind of use him in just like short yardage situations. He's kind of like the power back, even though he's
up
not
for a
really
Demon Tutty, which is interesting.
He could score.
If he's getting some goal line looks.
Yeah,
he scored last week, though. That might be a trap.
Brady Cook also uses his legs a ton at the goal line, so I mean, it's kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
I like Brady Cook's rush yards at 20.5.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot.
A&M, I mean, that's one of the best defensive end tandems I think I've seen in college football in some time that A&M has. And that includes, we saw Fisk and Verse last year, just to name an example for FSU. I mean, they're actually ridiculous at A&M. And I think they're going to give them fits. And it's the reason why they're favored, because they're going to win. Everybody's scared to go to the weird favorite at home after Baylor BYU last week. And there's 2 of them on the board that I will be taking this week. This is one of them. And I talked about this with DeGen too. Colin Klein. He wasn't at Texas A&M last year. You know where he was, Krabs? Kansas State. That team that lost in heartbreaking fashion to Mizzou because Will Howard is absolutely terrible at what he got paid at Kansas State to do. So he's going to be seeing that Mizzou defense for his 2nd year in a row. So who's going to be prepared to scheme in that game? Colin Klein, with a better quarterback now than Will Howard early, but feels like Marcel Reed is that guy for his scheme.
I do lean A&M. I don't know if I'm going to get to the counter here. It feels a little too easy. Mizzou coming off a bye week as well. We know they played like shit in their last couple games, but made it work. I mean, they barely skated by against Boston College. Vanderbilt game, I don't even have to talk about at that Bookit event. I feel like we learned a lot about Mizzou. Maybe they got some more work to do, but they're coming off a bye week, and I feel like A&M is a team that lets you down even when they're sharp. I'm a little bit worried about this. Sure, seeing A&M as a favorite makes me lean them 100%, but I hate seeing them at -2.5. I do like seeing Mizzou be public here, I guess, on the money line, but the splits on the spreads, definitely A&M getting some bets there. Chirps of Wiegman potentially playing here and coming back. Maybe that has something to do with them being a favorite as well. So I might end up staying off this game. I'm a little bit worried about Mizzou playing good for the first time in a couple weeks here. I'm worried about it. I am. All jokes aside with Joshy. I am.
We'll see.
Okay. You're pretty confident in A&M, I can tell that.
Very good. Especially because I'm an A&M investor that people forget. Also, I was one of the probably 20 people in the world that didn't take A&M game or week 1 against Notre Dame in a very similar spot that everybody ended up being on. So more looking forward to this game. And
I bet it.
I'm sticking to that.
All right. Well, lean A&M for me. Probably not going to bet it. Jovan has nuts glued to the Aggies. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see if that line moves at all this week. Very curious to see. I'm a little bit surprised to see A&M getting some early action on the spread, but it is early money. Early money, typically smarter. We'll see where those splits end up on Pickett Pro. A little closer to kickoff. Okay. W's. Actually, I want to get Joshy's prediction here on the game real quick, if we can. Joshy, you guys get this win or what?
Duh.
Okay. Shouldn't have even asked. Let's move.
Wait, 1 sec. They need to turn off the electricity in the house real quick for some reason. So I'm going to be gone for 2 minutes.
All right.
Is that okay?
All right. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
I don't really have a choice, so they kind of
You're good. You're good. You're good. We'll keep it running. He'll be back in this puppy in a second here. We'll keep it moving and grooving. Jovan, we could talk about some of these other college football games here coming up.
I'd like to talk about looking at these early games. SMU Louisville, same time. SMU is a touchdown dog going to Louisville. You know what I think that game is? It's your welcome to the ACC moment. Not that it's all that tough of a conference, but this is Louisville's or SMU's first like tough ACC road game. I think it's their first ACC road game, period. And they're going to play a Louisville team that has played, I don't know, that game was like super weird against Notre Dame, but I mean, they're in it for a majority of it. I know there are turnovers and shit both ways, but touchdown seems crazy for a team that's coming off of more than 100 combined points in the last 2 weeks against FSU. Huge win for the program, and TCU, same deal. I think they get punched in the mouth by Louisville.
Do you? Well, they're at 7 after that loss. I think I'm with you. SMU coming off that big-time win against a fraudulent Florida State squads. That could be their welcome to the ACC moment. Louisville back at home as well off that bad loss. I'm in. I think that could be a really good parlay piece as well. I don't want to sound like Trent here for a sec, but I feel like Louisville on the ML, I don't see a world where they lose. I get a little bit sketched out about that touchdown, but maybe a little Hail Mary back pocket piece.
Yeah, I could be in on that.
Sure. You're thinking about laying that spread, though.
I will be laying the spread. Yeah.
Good. All right. I can be convinced. What about Auburn and Georgia? Georgia's laying 24.5 off that loss. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm losing my words right now. Trying to think of that fucking game from this weekend. It's unbelievable. Thought they were going to come back and win. They blew it. They're playing a really bad Auburn team, Jovan, at home, and they're laying a bunch of points. Do we think Georgia lays the law? They bounce back. They prove that they're still a really elite program, and they spank Auburn, and they cover that spreads? Or do you think Auburn hangs around, keeps it within 24.5?
I think that's another spanking by Georgia. I mean, Auburn, they played 5 straight home games to start the season. This is their first road game. And their first road game happens to be going to Athens after Georgia just loses a heartbreaker in one of the games of the year against Alabama. Have fun. Especially being the fact that, Georgia, it's not just that they lost that game, but they came back in the second half and offensively got it together and looked really good. So now they have momentum coming into this game. Auburn's also dealing with the weird quarterback situation where nobody's really winning the job. It's just who's losing it less. So have a time on the road for the first time.
All right. Could be a little bit of a wake-up call for Auburn playing their first road game of the season, already through 5 games. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Who the hell's setting up their schedule? All right. South Carolina and Ole Miss. Ole Miss down to -9.5 on the road. They opened up -11.5 on that look-ahead line, and they're playing the fraudulent Shane Beamer's boys down there, the Gamecocks. On the road, though, Ole Miss is. What do we think about this game? I hate Shane Beamer's boys. I hate Shane Beamer, to be honest with you. Dude's an absolute fraud. I cannot believe he's trademarking Beamer ball when his dad is the real coach. But Ole Miss, coming off that bad loss, another similar spot to Georgia here, but they're on the roads, and South Carolina is still going to be a tough place to play. Those students are going to be rowdy. They're going to be filling up those seats, at least for the first half, before they start getting blown out. What are your thoughts on this game, Jovan, down there in South Carolina?
Yeah, I kind of hate this game because I don't really like either team. I don't think Ole Miss is as good as the preseason hype was, and I'm not just saying that because of what we saw last week. I was kind of on that island before the season started, and same thing with South Carolina. They're a team that I think a lot of the public loves for God knows what reason, but they play tough at home. It just feels like taking 9.5, especially when Sellers is coming back this week and you're getting the starting quarterback and it's not Ashford, who's god-awful at football. It feels like a really oddly comfortable bet to take. So I don't love Ole Miss, and I'm probably not going to take them, but it feels like the side to me.
Okay. Yeah, keep me away from that game. My gut tells me it's South Carolina, but my brain tells me it's probably Ole Miss in a bounce back spot. I'm good. And you never really know what South Carolina team you're going to get.
Yeah.
What about App State at Marshall? Maybe not the biggest game of the weekend, Jovan, but a game that could mean more for App State. They had to cancel their game last week because of the hurricane. The campus got destroyed. Prayers out for everybody down there. It's no joke. It's really bad. It's still bad. Maybe a little bit of an emotional edge here, Jovan. +3 on the road at Marshall, a team that I don't believe in. I thought they'd be worse off record-wise than they are right now, 2-2. I wouldn't mind fading them here and back in App State with a little bit of more motivation, playing for something bigger.
Yeah, it's also, they've had their last game before that. They've just been sitting and thinking about getting railed by South Alabama on national television.
That also helps. Yes.
I would not hate that angle. I know that. I don't know what the logistic situation has been with practices and where they've been all this time or whatever. It's probably a pretty tough situation, but the fact that they've been sitting that long just thinking about that is enough for me against Marshall.
Ooh. Agreed. That's a good point about practice, although you know how my brain thinks. If they didn't practice all week, I want to bet on them even more because I'm a freak. But gosh, man, I feel like I'm probably going to have to be on App State, not only just for that extra motivated angle, playing for their city, playing for their school, but also, like you said, Jovan, after getting spanked on TV by South Alabama and then sitting around for 2 weeks. I back that team anyways in that spot. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Rumor has it we got an LC 2-piece on the loose. Is it true? Oh, my God, it is. I'm going to show you guys real quick. Let me know what you think of this LC 2-piece. Back against the wall. I'm going to the GOATs. Gunnar Henderson and Jose Altuve. Sure. L screen sharing here, but at least you guys get to see the 2-piece. What do we think, Jovan? Is Gunnar showing up today for the people of Baltimore? Is he showing up for Goots? What do we think?
He might. Somebody's got to get the big hit. I don't think Lugo gives up too many, but if it was Gunnar, I wouldn't be incredibly shocked.
He's been a ghost.
Same thing for Altuve.
He's been a ghost so far. I mean, they've only played one postseason game, but at the end of the season as well, to not finish too strong, wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it. And then Altuve in a bounce back spot. I mean, look, if the fucking Astros want to win this game, it's got to be Altuve getting involved, right? I feel like he was swinging a little too early in counts. Got to be a little bit more patient. We know Altuve loves swinging at that first pitch, but if the Astros want to win this game, if Trent's future has to stay alive, Jose Altuve's got to do something.
Yeah,
got to do something.
I think it's Tucker out of the GOATs, but if they get to, I don't know, Holton or whoever comes out of the pen early, I mean, the floodgates could open in that game. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it's not It's a possibility.
Okay. All right. Sure. Chat, we'll lock back in here. I'm sure we'll get the Pickett Pro back up and moving here in a moment when we get Joshy back. For now, I want to talk about Indiana and Northwestern. Not an exciting game, but Indiana's an exciting team. Jovan, they're undefeated. They've got Curtis Rourke as their QB. We've been betting on him for years in the MAC. He was at Ohio with Sam Wiglitz, a guy I still have. Actually, I'm sad to announce I actually released Sam Wiglitz from my dynasty team in fantasy because it's probably not worth a spot at this point. But Curtis Rourke, let's bring this back full circle. He's a stud QB from Ohio and transferred to Indiana, and he's been carrying that offense. They're undefeated. They're ranked. They deserve it. They're 5-0, and they're on the road this weekend, Jovan, laying a pretty good amount of points to a sketchy Northwestern squad that just got embarrassed by Washington and only scored 5 points in that game. Do we think it could be Indiana here on the road laying 13.5, or is this where we get cute and try to back Northwestern at home?
You know, I don't want to get near backing Northwestern at home because I like Indiana. I'm not just jumping on the wagon, but I think we talked about that before the season too. This is really the first time they're getting tested by good defense, though, on the road especially, which concerns me a little bit because, I mean, they played Western Illinois, UCLA, like as they should be a decent defense, but they're not. They're depleted. They're bad. Charlotte and then Maryland. I mean, and then you add on the early season game against FIU. Those are really bad defenses, I think, across the board. So this is the first time they're really going to see one that's really going to be physical, line them up, and, I don't know, make them beat them down to down. So I'm a little concerned that everything's not going to be nearly as smooth as it was the first couple weeks. But I'm an Indiana guy, so I don't really want to fade them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Curtis Rourke guy, that's for sure. I would lean Northwestern with the spread, though. Selling high on Indiana on the road here.
13.5 looks extremely trappy.
Yeah. And who the fuck wants to bet on Northwestern in that fake stadium right now with that fake team? They stink. Yeah. I do. The more that I talk about it. Yep. All right. Good point here, Archie. Indiana looks a little too easy. Could not agree more. As an Indiana native, it was always IU. No bias at all. Trust. We know what to do. Fade respectfully. Any fan of a team. Okay. It's not personal. It's just business. Jovan, care to touch on your POD of year on Friday? What is this guy chirping you about, bro?
On Friday? He's talking about this Friday or last Friday?
I'm assuming he's talking about this upcoming Friday. Is that when the Cal game is?
Oh, no. You know what he's talking about? I jokingly tweeted Houston to score on their first drive, POD of year, because they've gotten shut out their last two games, and they're playing TCU on Friday. So that was half a joke, but, like, I'm actually taking Houston team total.
Okay. Down from 19.5 to 16.5. TCU. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have their hands full in that game.
They took off a square that I love for that game, and I assume it's probably going to be back up. So prize picks wise, we will have some units deployed for that game.
You think your frogs get caught sleeping there?
A little bit. It's also the fact, I mean, the obvious contrarian angle to it is they've not scored a single point the last two games, but they played Cincinnati and Iowa State in those two games, who are fantastic run defenses, so they weren't able to run the ball. They're going to be able to run the ball in TCU, and that opens up everything. So they're going to score. Yep.
Chat, stick with us here. We're going to go back to MLB plays in less than 10 minutes, okay? Stick with us. Let's keep moving and grooving. Any other late night Saturday college football games we could talk about before we get to the NFL? There's got to be some.
I mean, you know, we got the latest of late games, Krabs.
Scrolling through all the games.
I mean, you know, we're taking Berkeley, of course. I feel like I don't need to talk about that anymore than everybody knows I can talk about it.
Yeah, let's pull up that Cal game. Oh, there it is. Let's click on the splits there, Joshy. Let's see what we got cooking up. Let's see where the early money is while Jovan gives his little early sell job here on the Cal Bears.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a spot of all spots.
It's early money. Doesn't matter. It's early money.
Good money.
Hopefully.
But yeah, you got Miami, who finally got a scare. Shout out the Hokies. They kind of did exactly what I wanted them to do. They gave them a scare, and while Cal's sitting there on a bye week after the FSU loss, now they're getting healthy, which is huge. They're super banged up the last couple weeks, and now everybody's going to be back and healthy. They're sitting watching how VT was able to move the ball in that Miami defense. That shocker, they look human when they don't play a team that's not going to be making a bowl game. So now they're going cross country. You got game day in Berkeley for the first time ever. Kind of crazy, not the glaze, but that I called that from the beginning of the season. And look at where we are now. So yeah, I'm taking Cal. Spot of all spots is the reason why. I mean, I've posted the spread probably about 3 times, and all I see is Miami rolls, Miami rolls, Miami rolls. And what do you know? Spread comes down from 2 touchdowns to 10.5. And look where we're sitting now. Upset brewing. And somebody also brought to my attention, you know who really hasn't been healthy and hasn't been getting snaps the last couple games, Krabs?
Who?
Jay Knott.
Yeah.
And you know who has a regular touchdown square up for the first time this season?
I'm gonna take a wild guess here and say Jay Knott. Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Jay Knott legacy game. You saw what Tootin did against that Miami defense. He was running all over the place.
It's a field day, dude.
And he was hurt.
Field day.
He's doing it with one leg.
Yeah.
By the way, that guy will be playing on Sundays. I hope you can agree with me at this point. Bust me up, Tootin.
You can find a roster spot.
You know where he'll be? He'll be on the Miami Dolphins. He'll be the Dolphins' next running back.
I could see that.
Guaranteed. I'll tell you right now, McDaniels is drafting him in the 4th round. I can see it. I can see it. We'll go back to this clip later in a couple months, guys, when the draft happens. Okay. Also, I want to let the people know in chat, yes, Jovan did pay his debts on the Boise State Wazoo $200 wager. I'm go ahead and get that on record.
Not give Krabs his flowers for that.
I cannot let this get swept. A Battle of Berg that was a W that nobody's going to talk about. He paid up. Sure. I didn't even ask about it. Like a gentleman. Hit me up on the Venmo. I think your caption was Aston G&T is literally the greatest running back of all time. Yep.
Literally.
Yes.
Literally Heisman.
Look, I got to take what I can get, Jovan. I cannot let that one get swept. Had to bring it up, confidence-wise. I'll be on the Cal Bears with you. I wish you locked it in earlier. I'm assuming you haven't bet it yet. I know you're not the biggest. You've already bet it? What number did you get?
13. But I mean, you think I'm not taking it again, Krabs? Think I'm not taking it again?
I wouldn't if I was you. If I had 13 in my pocket like a genius.
I mean, I didn't take it because I thought the line
unit?
was going to move, or I'm going to be CLV God. I just took it because I knew I was going to take it anyway.
And they pulled Bark. Funniest moment of sweats last night was when Trent banged a 3 off the fucking backboard and said, and pulled Bark as it went in.
Dude, people aren't talking about enough that he jacked. That one game was.
I know. It was just one of those games. He was getting bored. He was jacking shots. He locked back in the next game.
3 for 20, dude.
He locked back in the next game, though. I'll give him that. We finished strong. We did. Yeah. Look, hey, when Pork has his mind right and he's not being a me guy out there like Gigi Jackson on South Carolina, we can win games. We got a pretty solid squad. And shout out Fat Girls as well. He was carrying at the point.
Field goal attempts at half is crazy.
Yeah. Might need to run it back.
Only if Pork's going to be locked, man.
All jokes aside, though, night and day, pulled Pork's performances out there compared to last year. He's gotten much better.
Last year,
much better.
I like where he's at.
Yeah, you have to be. You take what you can get. Sure, there's some games, a little too much quantity on the shots. Okay, whatever. You know it's going to come. We take what we can get here. Okay, much improved. Much improved. Guys, Trent's going to run the sweats for the Astros game here in less than an hour. Okay, so stick around. Stay posted. And we will keep you guys updated there, but should be around 2:30 Eastern. Okay. C-Dot's got a 97 power forward. We might need you, C-Dot. We might need you. Krabs, thoughts on the Manders having second best odds to land Devontae? I'll say what I said about Brandon Ayuk. We have a smart GM now. We are not going to make dumb trades. We are not going to sign Devontae Adams, bring him in here, and when we got to pay him, extend him, and already pay him too much when he's a drama queen and causes issues in that clubhouse. No chance. We don't need him anyways. We're not a pass-reliant offense. It wouldn't really fit that well anyways. It'd be a waste, in my opinion. I'd rather spend money on the defense in free agency or go out and get a more, lower-level wide receiver. We could use one, but I don't think we need Devontae. I think we have what we need. We got Terry as a GOAT. We don't need to add Devontae. We don't need to pay him all that money. We don't need that drama in this clubhouse. I like what we have. We're not signing him. No.
Big game this week, Krabs, for the commies.
Huge game. Huge game. I'll say what I've said the last couple of weeks. We're going to lose.
I think this might be the first time in a couple of games, I guess. Maybe first time all season that I am with you on the Commanders game.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the Browns, they might have to be played. I didn't play the Cardinals last week. I got talked out of it, Trent, roommate. But I think this week, I don't know if I'm going to be able to resist. I'll be honest. The Browns +3. Jesus, man. Looking at me funny. Watson about to carve us up. Jerome Ford, he might have a day.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's
I'm worried.
Going to be surely going to be on the preview for Friday.
I'm worried.
Maybe foreshadowing. Might be in a certain spot too. The Colts were in last week.
We'll see. All right, speaking of NFL, why don't we go there real quick and take a peep at some of these lines? Commies laying 3, not ideal with all the hype, but maybe they're just built different. There's a team or two every year, Jovan. Doesn't matter what the spreads are at. Sometimes they're just different, and maybe we're that team. We could be. Seriously. I mean, our offense looks fucking great. Our defense showed up last week. All they need to do is have a pulse like that, and we win games. Obviously, getting some early money, not surprised there. We're going to be getting plenty of money in this spot. Who the heck wants to bet on the Browns? I don't know. But once again, the Commanders not getting too much line respect, and the Browns getting too much line respect. After the last couple of weeks, maybe we see the Browns come through here. I don't know, but I certainly wouldn't recommend the Commanders as a wager to any of my buddies. Not this weekend. No.
Yeah, I'll say this, and we'll talk about it fully once we get there on Friday, talking about the games. But I went through a lot of the NFL Pro stuff, all the numbers. I was shocked to see some of Deshaun Watson's numbers because they are a lot better than you think in every advanced number. It basically just confirms the fact that, if you're watching the games, you see how bad the offensive line is. And that's been the real problem. And he hasn't helped. He hasn't been great. I'm not going to sit up here and try and say that, but you'd be very surprised. So, yeah.
He hasn't made any winning plays either.
No, he hasn't made game-changing plays, but he's been more than sufficient by the books.
Yep.
And I think we see that kind of correct itself. Hopefully the offensive line can come to play a little bit better than the past couple games.
Yep. You don't have to watch the ads, my man. You could pay $5 and sub up, my man. Or somebody can bless you up in the feed if they're feeling generous. What's on the Sharp Report for today? I'm on the Orioles on the ML. Mets and Brewers under 7.5, and the Braves Padres under late night. I've also got Frankie Montas less than 1.5 walks allowed, and Max Fried, Joe Musgrove combo less than 10 Ks in that late night game. Jovan, you want to run over your plays real quick?
Yeah, we're in Berg. I have the Brewers game over, and then I have Betting Queen collab Padres ML, and then I have Kyle Tucker run and Bobby Witt bases. Trent's going to splooge when he hears both of those. And I know he's not taking the soccer play, so I'm not even going to say that. But yes.
Okay. Awesome. Let's go back to NFL here. I want to hear about your Bucks and what you think about your 3-1 Buccaneers on the roads against the Falcons.
Dude, I'm pretty shocked looking at the line for this game because they were just similar. They ended up closing, I think, +1, +1.5 at home to the Eagles. And that was the Eagles that was missing A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I mean, half the offense. Again, we talked about that game, and Hurts was, I don't know, he wasn't great, but he had nothing to work with. Nobody was open. Guys were dropping passes. The offensive line was getting carved up. So, that was a very injured team that still closed as favorites on the road, and now the Bucs are getting a similar line when they go on the road against the Falcons team that's played every top team tough and upset the Eagles in the process. That feels really odd to me. Really, really odd. So I will probably be on the Bucs. I definitely have a lot of guys that I like in this game, prize picks wise, that we can talk about tomorrow. But
okay,
I'm shocked that they're closing this short.
All right. Jets and Minnesota. Early game, 9:30. They're back. Yep. And you guys don't want them, but you got them. How about a nice 9:30 a.m. Eastern start on Sunday? Jets versus Minnesota. Where are they playing this game at? Tottenham Hotspur Stadium over there in London. Sure. Jovan, neutral site. Make sure you guys know that when you're looking at this game and these lines. It's a neutral site. They're playing over in England. Minnesota still undefeated, laying 2.5. I still like the Jets here in this spot. Especially hearing Garrett Wilson all the bitching. I still want to bet them at the +2.5 line here, Jovan. What are your thoughts on this game?
This gives me, I don't know. I guess it's not BYU Baylor because it's not the same unranked favorite because the NFL. But this gives me obvious fake sharp spot of, I don't know, the weekend vibes. That's just what I get. And maybe I'm a little biased because I really don't want to fade the Vikings until they show me that they're somewhat human, and the Jets offense is so one-dimensional, which one of the things that Garrett Wilson was saying is the fact they don't switch it up nearly as much as other teams. You do that against a Brian Flores defense, I mean, have fun. I think this game will be close. I don't think the Vikings are going to stuff them in a locker, but still think they win. I don't know if I'm going to get to the counter with it because it still pains me to push that button, but I don't know if I'm going to take Jets.
Okay. Thoughts on the total at all? Look ahead line, was at 44. Now we're seeing the total down to 40.5.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not really trying to get cute and take the over in this game. I do like both of these squads' defenses, and I'm not really trying to get in the business of fading Brian Flores' defense right now. They are on their fucking heads. I'm good. I'd lean Jet spread. Probably not going to bet it. What about Miami and New England? That's a shit game. We're not going to spend much time on that one. Any thoughts?
That's a dog meat game, dude.
Yeah, it is.
No. Mike McDaniel's coaching, like he doesn't realize Tyler Huntley and Skylar Thompson have been his quarterbacks. That's what pisses me off so much about what Mike McDaniel is doing right now.
Well, he's not the kind of guy to tailor, something to somebody else new. He's got his offense, he's got his thing, and he's not fucking changing.
Yeah, which I mean, until he shows me that's going to be any different, like I'm not betting on the Dolphins. I can't do it. Can't do it. Especially they refuse to run vertical up and down the field, whether it's in the passing game, whether it's in the run game, just on designed, I don't know, A-chain right stuff, or whether it's jet sweeps with Waddle and Hill. Like nothing is vertical, and they don't realize that right now the offense doesn't work like that. So against the Patriots, that's probably going to be pretty tough.
Here's a good question in chat. Fantasy football, are you starting Daniels or Murray this week? First of all, it's a W. You have both those gents. Great drafting.
Great job.
I typically would say you start JD5 every week. You don't think about it. He's fantasy football QB1. He's different, so you don't even got to worry about it. But this could be a rare case where I might try to get cute, and I might start Kyler this week on the road with that really high total in a game with that spread coming down where I think they will be competitive. And even if they're not, he still should be able to get plenty of second-half fantasy points in a garbage L script. I might even go with Murray, honestly. I'm a little bit scared about Jaden Daniels against the best defense he'll face this season so far. And I always like to look at the totals of these games when I'm deciding who I'm playing in fantasy. And I do see more points. It's not even really close in that Arizona-San Fran game compared to that Commanders game. So I think I would get cute here and take Murray. I would, as crazy as that is.
I would probably lean Kyler. The one thing that I will say, devil's advocate, that I love about JD5, even when he's facing a tough defense, is he's facing a tough defense up the middle. So, like, when they're in the red zone or goal-to-go situations, I feel like the RPO pull into the touchdown is probably going to be a pretty big part of the offense. So, rushing touchdown points could be huge.
Better question. You benching Tyreek this week? No, I wouldn't bench him. You got to keep starting him. You drafted him. I wouldn't bench him.
I don't know. Against Christian Gonzalez when you already have Tyler Huntley?
I'd still start him. But that's tough. That's why I don't draft Tyreek Hill, I guess, in the first place. But that's tough. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. I want to talk about just a couple more NFL games here, Jovan. And then we'll go to the squad ride, wrap this puppy up, and get prepared for some afternoon sweats. I would love to talk with you about this Ravens and Bengals game, 1 p.m. on Sunday Eastern. Ravens are laying 2.5 on the road. Is this where we can get cute and bet the Bengals here on the spread? I really hope you say yes.
Hey, I'm not going to tell you no. It's your favorite number, Krabs. Ravens just had the game of all games in prime time for all of the world to see, where they just dismantled what I guess everybody would have agreed on before now. Between them and the Vikings were the best or most impressive teams in the NFL to that point. And they did it in front of everybody. Now they're only -2.5 on the road against Cincinnati. Yeah, might have to be done.
Even Chad agrees. They like the Bengals. Yeah.
Just might have to be done.
They might be onto something. Yeah. I'm a fucking horny for +2.5 spreads, especially when they're shit teams. Bengals +2.5 against the Ravens. Sign me up. Goots, I'm sorry, man. I am on your O's today, though, Goots, so that cancels it out. All right. I know you're at the game. Goots, you better be drunk already, my man. All right. Arizona, San Fran, mentioned it earlier. Any thoughts in that game, Jovan? +7.5 for Arizona. Total in that game up from 47 to 49.5. Maybe we get some points.
Maybe we do get some points. I would say I would really like the Cardinals in this spot if the 49ers didn't already blow a very similar spot. Granted, it was on the road, but I believe they were same exact 7.5 line against the Rams when they lost that game outright? No?
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good spot, I still think, for the Cardinals to back them off of that, but that's the only thing that's holding me back.
Yeah, I like the over in that game. I think that'll be a shootout. I don't know if I want to get
total.
involved in Arizona on the spread. I lean that way, but I think I like points in that game.
Yeah, can't blame you for that. That total still feels a little high, I would say.
It's high. With some
Especially-
San Fran injuries, they haven't looked great so far. Arizona, their offense didn't look great last week after that first drive. I think it's points. Crazy stat. Arizona has scored a touchdown on the first drive of their game for every game so far this season. They've scored a touchdown.
Jeez.
Isn't that crazy? And then they just forget how to play football the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Wild. I feel like that starts to flip here a little bit. The adjustments will be made. I'm sure Arizona is very aware of that at this point, and I like points in that game throughout. Give me the over. All right. Cowboys and Steelers. And then we're going to move on to the squad ride here. But I want your thoughts on Sunday Night Football. A little early look ahead talk here. Cowboys getting plus 2.5 on the road against a 3-1 Pitt team at home with Justin Fields at the helm. Jovan, what are your thoughts in this game?
I don't know who the hell is going to want to bet the Cowboys in this game. That's my first impression, even though they are getting plus chick, which I guess the Cowboys are always going to attract some sort of bets when they're plus chick, but this looks like probably the most obvious Steelers bounce back spot after they just got clapped by Joe Flacco in a game that really shouldn't have been close. And now they're at home on Sunday Night Football. I don't like the Cowboys, but I might have to.
Fading the Steelers at home is a death wish.
Death wish, dude. Which
But
is
I could be
sitting at your
convinced.
favorite number, Krabs.
I could be convinced. I could. If that stays at plus 2.5, assuming the Steelers will be getting some late money here. Cowboys getting some early money. Not surprised. Yeah, I'll probably be on the Cowboys. That sucks. All right. I'm hearing rumors in chat. People requesting us to go over the 4 MLB games today and our winners. Why don't we go ahead and power through that real quick on Pickit Pro? And if you guys aren't hip to Pickit Pro, you should go check it out. That's a desktop version of Pickit. So we've been screen sharing on here, and it's extremely clean. And if you have not checked it out, it's at least worth going to use that free trial. Try it out yourself. If you're betting on sports every day and you're not using Pickit Pro, you might want to look to make that change. Okay? Pretty fucking cool. They're doing some good things over there at Pickit. And yes, Mike Tomlin is goated. But maybe not this weekend. Maybe not on Sunday night. All right. Jovan, real quick. Honestly, maybe Josh, should we just go back and scroll through here? I would love to hear Jovan go over his 4 winners in these games. Who do you got winning? Odds aside, I don't give a hoot. Just pick the winners. Go 4 now.
Go Astros game 1. I've gone back and forth on Royals Orioles. I think there's going to be some lighting and bullshit in that one. I'll say the Astros stay alive. The Orioles go home. And the Royals win that game. I'll say the Brewers go home and the Braves go home. Only team I think stays today is the Astros.
Wow. So you've got the Astros, you've got the Mets, you've got the Royals, and you've got the Padres.
Yeah, and I say I feel pretty iffy on Mets Brewers, which is why I like the total in that game a little more. But
Sure. All right. I'll go over mine here. We can start at the top. I'll go Astros. I think they win. Certainly not betting on that poverty org, but I think they win. Fucking cheaters. They deserve every loss to the Tigers that they get. I'll take the Orioles. I'm actually on the Orioles in this game on the ML. Already locked it in. I will take the... shit. This is tough.
See, I feel like you think every game or every series is going 3.
I'll take the Brew Crew on the ML, catching some steam, not getting some bets. Mets are public. People are betting them again to replicate last night. I'll take that under, and I'll take the Brewers to stay alive. And I'll take the Braves. Shit. I'll take the Braves. I'll take the Braves. I'm standing on Max Fried. I'm standing on business here. I think they stay alive, but that's clearly my least confident if you couldn't tell. All right. Astros, Orioles, Brewers, and Braves. Actually, fuck that. I'm going to the Padres. Pull that back up. I'm switching. Pull that back up. I'm switching. Last game, give me the Padres. Fuck the Braves. They shouldn't even be here in the first place. They stink. They don't deserve it. They've already been good for 8 years in a row. They made the playoffs 8 years in a row. Fuck them. Give me the Padres. Musgrove season. All right. W's. Let's get to the squad ride here, gents, so we can give you guys plenty of time here this afternoon for a little afternoon sweats involving the Astros and Trent sweating out his future where he can become rich potentially here, but they got to stay alive and get a win. Sweat should be around 2:30 p.m. Eastern, chat, around first pitch time. Okay, so stay posted, stick around. Don't go far after BTL today. Do not go far. Stick around. All right, Dubs, let's move. Let's groove. Jovan, let's get to the squad ride. Joshy, run that shit. I want to see that train. All right, great job yesterday, Jovan, with the squad ride on the Royals. We start out this month 1-0, fresh slate. Okay, I talked about it already. We had the worst month in squad ride history last month. Let's bounce back. It happens. All right, we can't be perfect every month, but we're going to bounce back, and I like our chances of killing it and getting in the right direction here, starting 1-0 on October 1st yesterday. Let's carry that momentum. Let's get another W tonight, Jovan. Why not us?
Now, here's where it becomes difficult because I feel like we're near the opposite side on every game.
That's on you, bro.
I'm just saying. It's like, what are we going to do? I feel like there's no agreement other than the agreement that I think the entire world and Trent and Betting Queen all have on the Padres, which scares the fuck out of me for a squad.
Well,
a lot of you.
I'll keep this as simple as possible. My favorite play tonight is the under in the Braves and Padres game. I don't see a world where that loses. I would love to put that in the squad ride vote.
I'm not gonna hate that crap.
Dude,
I was very close. I was very close to taking the Padres out and putting the over in because I saw the 5U max play noti, and it's the same script.
That'd be a wrap. That'd be a wrap meet pivot.
You like it that much, Krabs?
I just looked you in the eyes. I told you it's my favorite play today.
All right, I will respect it because I'm not taking the over anyway. I'm taking the Padres. Put it in.
I was gonna say, show me a fucking overslip if you want to keep this up.
It. If I was going to actually put an overslip in, I would have 100% vetoed, but I'm not.
Let me check and see what the total's at on most of the books here. Very, very curious to see if we're getting 6.5s or any 7s aloof. They're all 6.5s. I hope you guys tailed last night and got the Pickett notif. That's why you follow me on Pickett. That's why you use Pickett. If you don't already, change your life. Start using Pickett today. Okay. We'll put Braves, Padres. We'll put the under 6.5 in here. I swear to God, if it ends at 7, that's going to be beat. All right. What about your favorite play today?
It's probably the over in the Mets game. But you know you hate that too.
I hate its gods.
I hate its gods, man.
I hate
and
its
that
gods.
when you actually have a slip on the under, so I can't really say anything about that.
Might have to get a little cute here.
We're gonna have to get cute, dude.
What else you got on your sharp report? You've got a soccer play. Jesus, we could go with the soccer play.
No, it's DQ'd. We don't do that. That's getting way too cute. Way too cute, gross.
Okay. What was your third play? Your third straight bet?
Padres.
Let's put the Padres in there. You confident?
I mean, I am, but you put that in, you know that's auto winner. So I'm saying you got to be okay with that.
I would love for chat to vote for the best play on the boards. That's what I want them to do, but we got to give them options. Whether they listen or not, that's on them. I would love for them to click the best button, the best play, best sell job, most heart. But if that's we need to put plays in here. We got to put options in.
Yeah,
we put the Padres ML.
Literally no options. So yes,
Padres ML skis. Sure. Unfortunately, no WNBA today, Jovan. I mean, the Orioles are winning today. I know you like the Royals. We're in a little bit of a pickle there, but I really like the Orioles. Do we put them in for Goots?
I'm not betting on the Royals. So I mean, if you really want to,
for Goots.
For Goots.
For Goots.
Yeah, it's your call, Krabs.
Let's put them in. Unless you got any other back pocket plays, we don't have much to work with today, unfortunately.
Yeah,
we don't.
We really don't.
We don't. Let's go with the Orioles ML. For Goots. I'm playing Team Goots this week in Bookit Fantasy as well.
Are you?
It's Neighbors Know My Name versus Goots.
What are you like, minus 30?
No, his team's okay. His team's okay. And I got some buys, so it's going to be close.
Okay.
I trust Goots on ground. Nobody deserves it more. They're getting 2 in a row. Let's put the Orioles in there. If you guys don't want to vote for it, that's fine. We got 3 plays, 3 winners, 3 options. Joshy, we can fire up the poll here. Braves, Padres under 6.5. Padres ML and the Orioles on the ML. Chat, love these plays. Like the Padres. Trust on the Padres. I'm with you there, Jovan. Love the under in the Padres Braves. Love the Orioles on the ML. I know it's juicy. If you don't want to lay juice, click the other buttons. Please click the right button, chat. Please click the right button. I don't know which one it is. I'm telling you guys to fucking click it. Okay? Click the right button. Click the best sell job. Click the best play. Give us the best chance to stay undefeated this month for the squad rides and make up some ground from last month. Okay? Give us a fucking chance. Come on. Give us a fucking chance. Big Cheesy saying in chat, Zach Hampel already caught that Bobby Witt home run. I bet. How can I not put boots on ground? Dean, grow up. Let the kid live. Come on. The city of Baltimore needs it. They need it. They do. Give it to them. Keep them alive. All right? Chat, 3 plays, 3 winners. Atlanta, San Diego, under 6.5. Padres, ML. And would you look at that? The Orioles catching some steam. The Orioles getting some life here. Second place.
Surprised.
Second place. Chat, lock in. Click your best play you heard today that you think is turning green. All right? It's really that simple. 3 plays, 3 winners. The under, the Padres, and the O's. All right? Come on. The city of Baltimore needs one today for Goots. For Goots. Come on. Give it to him. Give it to him. It's going to be the Padres. I don't even know why I'm cheering. Goots on grounds. If you see any tweets from Goots, gas him up, whether they win or lose, please. He's going to need it. I do think, all jokes aside, the Orioles win that game, though. The 2 plays I locked in last night after doing an angry lab session after giving out cake yesterday, Jovan, were that under in Atlanta and San Diego and the Orioles on the ML.
Wow.
Yep.
So we're getting deep Krabs lab work.
Wow.
In the middle of the night for these games.
Wow.
You just
1
gotta
a.m.
respect it. 1 a.m. Krabs lab.
You can't say I don't want it. You can't say I don't love baseball. Those are 2 things we know.
Yeah.
Right, for Goots. Look at that. The Orioles catching some steam. I didn't think they had a chance. Jovan, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this?
It.
The people
Surprised.
believe. The people believe. You know what? They want a squad ride for Goots. Yesterday, we faded him in his face while he was away on fucking PTO yesterday, and that was disrespectful, but you know what? We squeaked through a W. Okay, today we make it up to him. Maybe we take the Orioles. Who knows?
Oh,
Chad okay with, and immediately they switch. Okay. Immediately they switch. Unbelievable. Chat, get those votes in. Hurry up. You got 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Get those votes in. Who's it going to be? And the Padres ML, I bet. And the Padres ML, I bet. All right. Well, I got to play 2 bets in that game now. Damn it. We'll lock in the Padres on the ML. Jovan, I do trust. Okay, especially with baseball for you. You really don't got to say much. I listen. Okay, Padres ML tonight. We'll meet you at the cash counter. I do want it on record. I do love those 2 other plays a lot, chat. The Orioles ML and then under in the Padres game. We'll meet you guys at the cash counter when it smacks. Stick around for some sweats this afternoon. Trent's firing that puppy up. He's going to watch the Astros game with you guys, and hopefully they can catch a dub as well. Keep his future alive. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. W. Jovan, W. Joshy in the back end here, running the operation. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll be seeing.
Peace.